You pressed the button.
You pressed it.
I did press the button.
Right.
I should.
You didn't mess that up like you usually do. You're really bad at doing things.
I'm really bad at doing a lot of things. Like forgetting to silence my phone.
Yeah, way to go. Welcome back, everyone, or welcome for the first time.
Welcome.
There are weird people out there who start on the last episode release.
That is true.
That's
and then
strange
they listen.
Or they don't. Either way, it's
Yeah.
weird.
It is.
We are Soul of a Gamer.
Soul of a Gamer.
We're back again for another lovely episode.
Yes, and each week we play a different video game. We give ourselves unique challenges. We tell you all about our playthroughs, what we liked, what we didn't like, and all that information, so you can have the best information going forward on whether you should buy this game or not.
And we eat cookies.
We do. A lot of cookies. That's like
While
my
we're
favorite
playing.
dessert, actually.
That's all we do, actually. We tell you we play the game, we don't, then we eat a bunch of cookies.
Wait, we could do that?
No.
We should start doing that. It'd be so good.
Last week's game, what was last week's game? It was Billy Hatcher. Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg, which I actually, it's an okay game. You can get through it. Just that last level is kind of shitty.
You can't
last
get through
couple.
the end.
Well, I mean, I did.
Well, I did.
You're just a quitter.
I am a quitter because I failed.
And this week's game is Tony Hawk Pro Skaters 1 and 2, which he played the remastered, which was, I'm going to just say it's way easier than what I did.
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot, like watching videos, because after I beat it, I'm like, is this fucking difficult for everyone? I'm like, wow, that looks so much easier. Whoa.
They did make the mechanics a lot easier.
Yeah, they made the grinding easier. They made the fluidity of the motions easier, and they made the controller easier.
That's one thing for sure. It's just the fluidity of it.
Oh, God, it's so bad in the original. And the first one's fine, because there's not that much you have to do. Second one, such a pain in the fucking ass to get.
So actually, the first time I ever played any Tony Hawk game was the second one, and it was on the the Nintendo 64.
Yeah, and I played the first one. I don't even remember playing the second one. I'm sure.
And I remember falling in love with the second one mainly because Spider-Man was in it.
Was he?
Yeah, Spider-Man was an unlockable character, and number 2.
I didn't do any managed character stuff. I just straight story.
So if you created a character and you beat the entire story with the created character, you unlock Spider-Man.
Oh, I didn't even know you could play it with a created character. I was playing as Eliza Steamer.
Oh, okay. She's really awesome, too.
Steamer?
Yeah, Steamer.
That sounds right.
Yeah, Eliza Steamer.
I played her in the first and the second. She was pretty rad.
She was one of the very first female pro skateboarders, if not the first female pro skateboarder that was like really, really big. Kind of like Kareem Campbell was actually one of the first black skateboarders.
Nice.
And he was incorporated in the game too. Yeah.
Because they're so forward thinking. They included one woman and one black. Did it. They're so
there wasn't that many when that game came out.
Well, shit, there were probably a bunch and only the white guys.
Well, they weren't playing. They weren't professionals at that time. Those were the only like really
because they were street skaters, not fucking pipe skaters.
Yes. Because, street skating didn't become really popular.
It was already popular.
It wasn't as popular as vert.
No, it was way more. Just so you some history of skateboarding for everybody. Street skating became popular in the early 90s. Actually, that's when it started. That's when all these like pro skaters. So like 93-ish. Because all these pro skaters were really rich and famous, right?
Yeah.
You had like Christian Hosoi and Tony Hawk and Gator and
Bob Bergenquist,
Mike McGill. Yeah, all these guys, right? They all did great in the beginning, and then they all went broke.
Yeah, pretty
Tony
much.
Hawk didn't come back until 97 or 98 during the 97 or 98 X Games. And that's when he became famous again. That's when vertical skating became famous again. But the thing about vertical skating is you can't do that. You can't do that as a normal person. Not everyone had access to skate parks. Not everyone.
Yeah.
Street skating became insanely popular because people were like, I could do this on a fucking park bench. I have a park bench by my house.
I meant professionally wise, this vert was more popular than street. But yes.
Oh yeah,
majority wise.
Even professionally, like that. I told you, man, they all went broke. All these, like Tony Hawk was completely broke. All these guys lost their houses they bought. They had millions of dollars and lost it all. And then he got it all back because he won the X Games that year as an old fuck.
But I gotta say, like most people know professional vert skateboarders more than they do street.
They do.
Tony Hawk is
because Tony Hawk brought it back.
Yeah,
he brought that whole genre back into the open. If it
Him
were not
and
for him, it would have been not
him,
existent.
Bob Burnquist, Bucky Lassick, those three.
Yeah, they're
during
good,
those
but I'm saying
times
like
were-
that X Games that opened up everything. That was the re-emergence of every one of those old skaters who are like, these guys are 45 years old. And I was like, no, we're only 24.
Did you ever skateboard?
No, I hated skateboarding.
I never really tried skateboarding. I've only really ever tried longboarding.
Oh, you couldn't skateboard. It's too hard.
No, and I'm not probably going to be good at skateboarding. I can
It
probably
was
tell that
easier in
already.
Arizona, but that was, even then it was kind of. I mean, there was a skate park by my house, but I got into rollerblades. I really went on the gauge train. Went into roller.
I actually was into rollerblades too,
Yeah,
especially
so-
because we had a rollerblade derby place in our town for the longest
There's a
time.
derby.
There was.
Wow,
It's
that's
not a-
really dumb. That is really lame.
and all the school dances would be held there,
You have to go. Yeah,
and every
all the
birthday
school
party.
dances were actually you were on rollerblades. It was really sweet.
No, we didn't.
No,
rollerblade
you
for the
did.
dances.
You did.
That would have been cool.
You know. Stop thinking that lame things are cool, Steve.
No, it would have been awesome.
Listen, it would have been
All
really
right.
cool. I would have dated a girl on rollerblades.
What's wrong with that? My wife rollerblades.
Okay.
She rollerblades while I longboard.
And now look at the two of you. Ugh, disgusting.
Living happily together.
Boo. So yeah, the Tony Hawk games though, those are like staples in most of our friends and ours
yeah.
and people our age, our childhoods. Because those games came out and they were just so bad, but we pretended like they were so good. Like we really did. We pretended so hard that they were really good.
They were back then. Though.
Yeah, they were back then. Like we had no way to compare them. But going
Oh,
in
yeah.
now, me playing the old one and then looking at the new one, I'm like, wow, this is garbage.
Yeah,
This-
you look at it's just graphically. It's just
graphically, the
huge.
control scheme, the muddleness it feels like when you're skateboarding, the fact that you're never actually moving the skateboard, it just moves itself.
Well,
You
and-
never kick your leg down in the original ones. You just go.
So I actually listened to an interview recently for this podcast of Tony Hawk talking about making of the game.
Yeah.
And he only ever played it on PC because that's the console the console they made it for. They made
Yeah.
it for PC, and then they kind of had to dumb it down for
They
like the
ported it? Yeah.
ported it to the 64, which is why it's probably clunkier.
Well, it's on the PlayStation as well, right?
Yes,
That's probably
the
more
remakes of it,
That's probably more comparable.
So-
Comparable because the PlayStation's
or
usually
maybe
better.
the original PlayStation. I think it might have just been remade though, because on the original Xbox they had Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2X, which was a remake of the second one with an extra DLC pack, basically an extra
Interesting.
4 or 5 maps.
Hey, you spent $60 and you get 5 maps.
I think it was like 30 or 40 back
Oh.
then. But yeah, and then this newest remaster, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2, it's $40, and
Yeah,
you get both of them fully remastered and fully reworked.
it
and
looks a lot better than the original.
you can actually play with the original control scheme. You can make your own control scheme.
Yeah.
They have the new control scheme, but you can play with the exact same setup that they did in the classics, which is
Yeah,
really
you
cool.
can play on the Nintendo 64 controller, which is shit controller. It's
yeah.
terrible.
It really is.
It is
though.
the worst. It's got the worst, clunkiest feeling as a playing device. But the one I have is brand new, and yet it still feels like shit.
yeah.
So,
Yeah. It's not the greatest feeling
Yeah.
ever.
so in the first game, the story is you're a pro skater who's doing pro skater stuff. There's no story.
No,
There's-
there's
So
absolutely
you go
none.
from map to map completing challenges. But in the first game, it's fun because they're easy. They're really, even the secret tapes, like some of
Yeah.
them are a little challenging. You have to do it a couple of times. You're like, okay, I see what I have to do here. I have to run around here and get some speed, but I can't jump from this point. I have to jump from this point. Like, and they're not hard. In Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, they're fucking difficult.
Yeah.
Because, and it's not because they're actually hard. It's because the control scheme in the second one is so much harder to do. And also, by the way, I'm sure in the remake they have a list of moves and they show you how to do them.
Yes.
You can access the list.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
you
That's
can.
good. That's good. It's good that you can access a list of what you can do and what you can't. Because in this game, you can't.
You could.
So yeah, one of the challenges in the second one is you have to broadside something, and that's on
blunt slide
Yeah.
the lip of the
Yeah,
awning
yeah.
on Philadelphia.
Yes. So to do that is great, but it doesn't show you how to blindside in the original.
It never showed grinding. So even in the remastered, it doesn't show your grind moves.
Oh, that's stupid. That's really silly.
because you can actually and it did do this in the regular classic version too. but you could actually go into your moves and you could switch your moves out. And
But it doesn't. I thought those were new
moves.
moves you didn't have. You couldn't see because it didn't show grinding on there either. Because that's what I went to. I'm like, how the fuck do you blunt side?
You couldn't change your grind, and you couldn't see a grind list.
That's
so you had to.
stupid.
You always had to figure out which direction was.
Well, the blunt side isn't a directional thing; it's a double up, and then you blunt side.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? Why would anyone guess that?
Well, I mean, because if you look into the moveset, you can even set stuff to double up, double B, double left, double right, and on normal moves, it actually if method is left, then stiffy might be left.
Yeah, it's really silly. They did too much, I think. But in the original games too, the grind, man, that's so hard. At least in the manuals, they did have the indicator up
The
and
bar,
down.
yeah.
They had that on the manuals. And the grinds, they did.
No, because it was based on your arms.
Yeah, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. And so, but sometimes so the shift is so fast.
Yes.
Right? So you could be over here and then suddenly be down over here because the shift can be so fast. You can only tell that with an indicator because literally mine would start here and then I'd be on the ground.
So the way that grind and manual mechanics work in the games, in the new version and in the classic versions, is they have penalties for different things. So if you manual 3 times before without doing any wall ride or spin or jump or grab or flip trick or anything, if you manual jump,
It gets harder.
it gets harder every time.
The bar will move faster.
It's the same with grinds.
Yeah.
If you jump off of it and you do 3 different grinds, it really, that third time, it'll just almost make you fall instantly.
Yeah. But you can control it. But in the original or in the new one, the grinding's also faster. I don't know if you saw that. But in the original one, it is not. It's very sluggy. And then, there's a whole thing. And I did this for hours because I was so pissed off. But there's this giant fucking sand fan. You have to grind across this pipe. And after you get to the end of it, it doesn't have a wall at the end of it. You have to jump almost at the end onto this building in order to hit these 3 pumps that drains the fountain in the middle.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. In the original version, that's almost fucking impossible to do. Because the graphics are so bad. B, you can't jump the way you want to. So the controls are so awful that if I'm trying to keep myself steady, right? I'm doing great. I have to now jump to the side. I jump, but the release is too slow, even though I know I did it on time. It makes me fall instead of jump to the side. It's really obnoxious. It wasn't enough, and that one took me so long to do. I did it, but I was so pissed at the end of it. I was like, fuck, this wasn't even fucking worth it. I barely got any money for it.
I think the hardest secret tape in the first one is in downtown. And it's not necessarily hard, it's just weird to get to. Because there's a sculpture in the middle where there's a fountain, and you have to jump onto the sculpture. There's 2 ramps on the sculpture. You have to jump off this ramp.
Wait, downtown? You don't. Take the subway. You have to grind the subway rails? Remember
That's
that?
New York.
Oh, that's New York? What the hell's downtown?
Downtown, it was
What are some of the things you have to do there?
there was destroy 5 cop cars. There was nose grind the fountain. There was
Destroy 5 cop cars. This is ringing a bell. This is in the first one, though.
yes.
Oh, okay. I thought we were talking about the second one.
No.
Yeah, this is the first one. No, that one's easy.
That one,
I didn't even have to, I didn't even try. I didn't even remember how to do it. I'm like, that sculpture looks about right to ride on. And then I did that, and then I went across the building. It's really
and you
easy.
went on to do the construction side of the building, and then construction of the building, and wrapped around the construction site, and then had to jump off of this ramp.
Yeah.
Well, I was trying to figure out how to get onto the construction site.
Yeah.
But didn't even think that the sculpture would be the way to get up there.
It
So
just
it took
looks
me a while.
when you roll past it, it has this little opening, and I'm like, that looks like it fits a skateboard. Literally, that's all you got to do.
I mean,
in the original, it might be more blatant because there's not that's the nice part with this grainy original stuff. Everything, they don't have enough pixels in there to really get into detail, so you see things a little better.
True.
So I saw that, I'm like, that looks like I can jump on it, and that's what I did.
And then the remake had a cool thing too. In each of the levels, they had an alien plushie that was hidden.
Oh, nice.
And if you found all the alien plushies in the entire game, you unlocked an alien to play as.
Oh, nice.
And it was really funny because I have this, I think I have a video of this that I'll post later too, with it, but I actually was playing as the alien character. When you unlock a character in the remastered, you unlock it at full stats.
Oh, nice.
And I was playing as the alien, and I was playing on the skate competition on Roswell, the unlockable map. And there's a little door that you can go through, and I went through the door, and they were doing an autopsy on another alien.
No, geez.
And I stopped, and I was like,
Yeah, that'd be cool with the alien if they had it like when he grinds, he has two lasers.
They had a telekinesis flip was his special flip trick.
Yeah.
So he would hold his hands like this, and then the board would just flip with his mind powers.
Interesting.
And then they had like a warp speed one where you could, it was like a teleportation thing while you're in the air, and you did some weird flip with your teleport. And then they had the best lip trick special.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Beam Me Up, and I have a video of it. It's literally you're holding on to the edge of the vert,
Yeah.
and you're being sucked up by a beam. You're like,
Oh, that's funny.
and your arms and legs are just flailing,
That's
and you're
cool.
holding your skateboard like before it falls out.
The alien sounds sweet. They don't have that in the original.
No.
In the original, you just kind of just fuck around.
Yeah, so
the entire
the
time.
original one, I don't think had any unlockable characters.
Yeah, I don't think so. I didn't bother.
Maybe
trying.
Officer Dick. I can't remember if Officer Dick was in the
I don't
first one.
remember if he
I
was in
know
the
Officer
original.
Dick came back for the second one. And then I know that Spider-Man was in the second one as well. The third Tony Hawk had Jango or Boba Fett. Had Boba
No,
Fett.
nice.
And
Boba.
you could actually have Boba Fett. Sorry.
Boba,
I'm going to get yelled at for that one. I know it.
not Baba. Hey, Baba, what you
Boba
doing?
Fett. But you could actually use his jetpack as an ability. That
Oh,
was a
that's sweet.
special, was using your jetpack, so you could basically stay in the air forever if you
Yeah.
channeled it right. But this one, yeah, it had the, so if you pre-ordered the game, you got a skeleton character. You could unlock the alien.
Skeletor.
Yes. And then the other character you can unlock in the second one is they brought back Officer Dick, but
Yeah.
in the remastered, they made him Jack Black.
Nice.
And
I hope
he's
that
the
he does
hardest
his
character to
little,
unlock ever.
his like, skip it to do da. Well, everything he does in his stupid movies, I hope he does that.
I don't know. I haven't unlocked him yet.
Yeah.
He's so hard to unlock.
Yeah, you have to do all the challenges.
So you have to
I
do
think
all
it's
the
just the-
created character challenges.
Yeah.
There's 24 challenges, and half of them are basically beating the game, beating all the competitions, getting all the goals in every single map, doing all that. But then the last 12, you have to get the 6 score in one combo on each map.
Damn.
Then you have to, there's special gaps that you have to find, and you have to get a combo of at least 50,000 on that gap as well. And you have to do that on several maps as well.
Huh.
And then once you do all of that, then you finally unlock Officer Dick.
Nice.
So
It doesn't actually sound too hard because I watched our buddy Trevor do it, and he just, like, literally first 4 seconds of the game, he had an 80,000 score on the school.
well, and that's
And
easy.
he wasn't
but
even trying. He was just like, yeah, I'm just kind of fucking around right now.
I can get like
But I mean
100,
in one move.
200,000 in
Yeah,
one
yeah.
move, but it's hard for me to get up to like some of the levels, like the 6 score is like 400, 500,000.
Yeah.
Like it's still hard for me to get those combos.
Yeah.
Because you have to do those so perfectly, and
Mhm.
you have to streamline so much together, and you
Yeah.
have to do specials and reverb.
And manuals and grinds.
Yeah,
Touching.
Which I gotta say, the remaster had brought in reverts into the game, which I don't think were in the original too.
No, Revert was in the second
Oh, it was in
one.
the
Yeah,
second
it's
one.
not the first one.
Okay,
That you just mean like turning your escape.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you could keep your combo going on a vert. You could jump up on a vert, do a special, do like a 720 special, come
Mhm.
down revert, and keep your combo going, which was fantastic.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess let's get into some of the levels. So in the
Okay.
first one, our first level is, what is it called? It's the warehouse.
Warehouse, yeah.
So it's a warehouse that has a half pipe in it for whatever reason. This is a very particular warehouse. And it's a sweet level. So you go in and it's just a fucking small ass warehouse. And in the original game, all you have to do is 5 things. And in the remastered, I think it's 10
Yeah,
things. But in the
everything's
original,
10.
it's like get a good score, pro score, find the tape, get the 5 crates, and get skate.
Yeah.
Right. And then in the second one, the first level, I hated it because there's one of the things you have to do is grind across the pipe. Right.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Which is fine, but the wires on there are razor thin, and like when you go up and you do a move through them, you can go through them. So I'm like, okay, it doesn't make any sense. That can't be a grind because you go through them. They can't exist, right? So I'm sitting there looking around for a pipe the entire time. I'm like, where the fuck is this pipe? And then finally, I just accidentally grind across. And I'm like, that is not what I had to do. This is fucking bullshit. You can go right through them. And they're the thinnest fucking wires you've ever seen in a fucking game. Yeah, I do not understand why they did that, but fucking dumb.
So I actually did, before I first got the remastered, I actually played through the second one on the Nintendo 64 again.
Yeah.
And then I played the second one on the Xbox again. And then I played it on the remastered version. And then I just played it again this week. So these are by far some of my favorite games. But yeah, the warehouse is actually Tony Hawk's favorite level.
Is it on the first one?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the second level's the mall, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the mall was actually pretty sweet because you just
go the school second, then it's the mall. School's always second.
Remember, what does the school look like?
The school in the first one was you started on the top of that awning, and it had the grind rail that goes down. You had to do. There's all those lunch tables.
Yeah, what's that? The second one?
It had the second one. You start out on the top, and there's
no, but that's the second level.
Yes, second level on both games is a school.
Gotcha. Okay, so then the third level is the mall. But the school, the school's fun. That one, the secret tape's kind of easy too. You just go up on top of the building, and I believe there's a grind at the end of that, and then a jump, right?
For the first school, you had to go up this ramp that goes up onto the top of the building,
and go up,
and then you had to go up another ramp onto a roof, and then you had to jump from that roof to another roof, and then you had to jump off from a ramp onto the awning. And then take that awning all the way down the stairs to the ramp that leads up to the secret tape.
That's right, yes. So, yeah, that one wasn't too bad. That level's you grind the picnic tables, get skate again, secret tape, and pro score, regular score.
That one was cool because there was a opening in one of the roofs where one of the textbooks were, which I don't think the textbooks were in the first one.
No,
they had to collect textbooks in the second one. And there was a spot on the roof where you could jump down, and there was a ramp underneath, like right above where the basketball hoop was, and you could actually get a 3-pointer. I think was the gap.
That's funny.
And go through it, and you'd hear the
nice
when you'd go through it, and it was so great.
And yeah, the mall is the third one, and the original you just have to break 5 the directories.
Kiosk. Yeah, directories. Yeah.
So yeah, we don't use those anymore. Really, we don't go to malls. But
no.
Back in the day, they were so cool. So, but
go to the mall every once in a while.
You have directories you have to break. You just ram through them. The secret tape is like a grind. You have to do it next to a car. The ramp's next to the car. For some reason, there's a car in there that's covered in wood that you can also ramp off of. I don't quite understand why.
And then
in a mall, and then skate, pro score, high score. That's
and then in the remastered, they had 5-0 grind, the coffee grind. They had Airwalk, the giant leap of faith gap.
Which one is that?
It's the
is it the fountain one?
It's right before where you go to the secret tape is to the right, and the left it goes up for another ramp, and it just has like nothing right there. If you jumped off of that was a leap of faith.
Oh, gotcha.
Because it was a really far.
That's what I kept trying to do to get the secret tape. And you can't make that one because it's shorter.
Yeah.
So, but then I switched to the other one. I'm like, oh, okay, this one works.
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem like it because you don't get as much air, but you get more distance.
Yeah. Oh. So yeah, then they had 3 scores you always had to get in all the
new one,
new ones.
Yeah, and the old ones not so much. And then I think what's the next level after that? It's that's the competition, I believe.
Yeah, the first competition, which is Chicago.
I don't remember. It's more of a street competition. Yes. It's outside.
Oh, that's not Chicago. That's the second.
Yeah, but the first one's outside. I think it's hard to remember now because all of it melds
first one
together.
And the second one is Marseille, France, and that one's outside. But that one's got the pools and the
Yes.
Like that.
Yes, I think that.
That's Marcel France in the second one.
Second one. Yeah. So in the first one, it's got a pool similar to that I literally it's a very small one, and that's the only thing I did.
Yeah, I can't remember what that one's called, but I know what you're talking about.
So yeah, you have competitions in this. So every like 4th level is a competition, and basically you just go and you have to get the highest score, and you have to get the gold, silver, or bronze. And if you don't get it, then you can't move on.
Yeah.
You have to get a medal.
It's a score of they're scoring you from 0 to 100, and you have 3 heats, and that takes your 2 best scores. Mm-hmm. And during the heats, there's 5 judges, and it takes your best score and your worst score, and it averages. So, yeah, that one I had troubles with some of the competitions in the
It takes your
remastered.
best score and your worst score?
It takes your best score and your worst score of the 5 judges, and it averages.
Oh,
them.
yeah. Sorry.
And then
I meant the heats. I'm like, no, you just
no.
said it drops the worst.
Yeah. And then for the heats, it has your 3 heats, and it drops the worst one.
Yeah, and if you make a mistake, if you get a sloppy, if you fall, anything like that, you lose points.
Yes.
So even if you have a score of 150,000, you could still get a score of 80. Fucked up.
Yes.
So,
but I mean, you don't have to score big points if you had a lot of different tricks.
Yeah.
And you had a lot of like good combos and stuff. You can still get high scores without getting a high number score.
Ideally, 60,000 is the number score you want to shoot.
I had to get 200,000 in some of these contests. Like one of the contests I had, the person I was going against, every time I scored over 97, he scored 98.
Oh, damn.
And so there was one competition I had, I think it was Chicago on the second one. And it took me probably hour and a half to beat it, to get the gold because I ended up getting a 98.
Yeah.
to win it. And I was like,
that's crazy.
God.
That's not, in the original ones, I think the highest people got basically a 91.8. Yeah. That was their highest score. So as long as you beat that in one heat, you're pretty good, and then you can average with a 90.
Yeah, I think
5 or better.
I think they changed the difficulty of the computers based on how well you were doing in the remaster.
Yeah, more than likely. There was this one competition where I thought I fucked up. I was going on a pipe. I did 2 flips, a move, and I did a 3 in the move, but it made me go forward instead. So I'm not on the pipe anymore, and I hit up on the C-pad on the N64 controller, hoping that there was a grind rail nearby, and there was.
Oh, geez.
And I was like, that's great. I didn't fuck up, and it was a $50,000 trick, and I was like, yeah, I did it.
Nice.
I didn't fuck that completely up, because then I have to restart the competition, because I already did my worst heat, and that heat fucked me.
So one of the cool things about the competitions in the game, I don't know if you know, they're actually based off of real places.
Oh, yeah.
So Marseille, France is actually a really popular competition place for professional skaters.
Yeah, I figured they took real, because there's actual stadiums too that they put in there. So
yeah, so a lot of the a lot of the skate parks are based off of real parks, or they're based off of real things, or they try to just make a clump of stuff. Like the Venice level is one of a lot of professional skaters' favorite level in the game because it feels like skating does in Venice.
Yeah. So as we move on. Is downtown next in the first one?
It might be.
I think it is.
I can't fully remember. Yeah. I know the second one way more than I know the first.
The first one, it's just all these levels too. They repeat themselves. They all look the same, especially in the first 2 games on the N64. Mm-hmm. Everything's grainy and looks exactly the fucking same.
Well, and it's funny because so the first level in the first one is warehouse. First level in the second one is hangar. Yeah. And they look almost identical. Yeah. There's one's a little bit bigger. And then there's school 2. Yeah. Mall.
Yeah, so...
And I'm like, what?
Yeah, I don't know why they decided to put a Star Wars character in there, but it's really...
Yeah, I would love to have Darth Maul.
I think downtown's the next one, and this is actually a really annoying...
Yeah, I didn't like that.
It's... So this is where cars are first introduced in the first one that run you over, and they purposely made it so they start when you hit the street. Mm-hmm. So if you're in the wrong spot when you get on the street... You get hit. And it's so super duper annoying. And so you go through this, and I don't remember quite this one as well. This one is Skate Pro regular score. God, where was the secret tape on this one? Oh,
secret tape on downtown was, we already talked about it earlier. It's going through
in the first one.
Yes.
Is that the first one? Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
Going onto the construction site and jumping onto the gazebo.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah. Oh, that's right. You have to go through. There's like a window you can jump through. So there's a truck that has it's like a car truck. It holds cars.
Oh, we're thinking of a different downtown level.
That's the downtown level.
Okay, then I was
the second one.
I was saying I might be thinking it's not called downtown. The level I'm thinking of.
Yeah. Okay, so in the first one, downtown is this. It's dark out. There's taxis rolling around. There's a
movie theater. There's
I don't remember any of that. But there's
giant fountain in the middle.
I don't remember. But there's not in that one.
Yeah,
is there? They're not a giant fountain. It's just a Regular
Okay,
fountain.
there's a big
All
fountain.
right, all right. Anyway, there's a truck that holds cars on it, and it's parked in a way that you can ramp up. You go through this window, you go around, and it'll let you get on top of the building. And the tape is in between two buildings.
Yes.
Yeah, and you have to just jump across. It's really simple. It's really easy.
Yeah.
It did not take me any time at all.
That one had the hardest goal to get in the entire remastered
Which one was
game.
that? Was that the?
So in the remastered game, you had to do 3 roof gaps,
Okay.
and
Yeah, you did not have to do that.
the 3 roof gaps were the gap to
Secret tape.
Actually, I don't even think that was. No, that was one of them.
Yeah.
So the gap to get the secret tape. Then there was a gap if you that way you got up to where you jump off to go get the secret tape. If you turned back around, you jump through, and there's a building that had a window you could jump through,
Okay.
and it had a popcorn tin in it. You had to collect 5 popcorn tins as well in the remastered, and you had to jump into that window. Bless you.
Yeah.
And then the third one is once you were on that roof for the secret tape, there was a ramp at the very edge of the roof, and you had to jump off that ramp onto this railing that was way down below that led you to the fountain, and you had to land perfectly on the railing to get this gap.
Yeah.
And the thing that sucked is I was already full stats when I first did this, and when you're at full stats, you actually jump farther than the gap to get the gap. You can't get the gap at full stats.
I mean, you can just slow down or hit the gap. Hit the gap at a different angle.
I tried different angles for. I probably
Sorry,
did it for
is
like
it
45
forward
minutes.
gap or it's a side gap, right?
So you jump forward,
Oh, okay.
and there's and then it's a huge drop of like 30 feet, and then
Yeah.
you have to land on a rail.
Got you.
And it's so hard to hit this rail, but like, so I tried it for probably 45 minutes trying to get this gap, and I couldn't do it. And I watched all these videos on tips and tricks. I tried every one of the tips and tricks, and then I watched this video where the guy actually like showed his stats, and his stats weren't all the way up on speed and hang time.
Yeah.
They were 1 off. So I went through the game again with another character to get their stats up to just where they were 1 off from
Yeah.
speed and hang time and jump. And I did it first try. And I was like,
Nice.
this is fucking stupid. I
Yeah.
literally couldn't do this at full power.
'Cause I'm just
Like,
too
so
strong.
dumb.
Too strong to get this done. So one of my least favorite things about this was in the second one, you had to do those lip tricks.
Yes.
So when I look up, because again, can't look them up, have no idea how to do them. So I'm looking up how to do them because I'm like, I have no fucking clue. And it's just, what was it?
Just up and Y, or direction Y at the
So-
top of the vert.
You would think so.
That's all it
You would think so. You would definitely think that would make sense. Not in the original.
Really?
Yeah, it's down, then up, then Y. But then up on the C.
Oh,
Y.
weird.
Yeah, it's really annoying. And in what they were describing was like, you have to be in a jump. I'm like, you do not have to be. In
No.
fact, in the jump, it's worse.
Yeah, you
it's
can't do
way
it in a
worse to
jump
do it in
because
a
you
jump.
always fail.
Yeah, and you
almost.
always grind.
Mhm.
So my problem is I would do it, and then I'm like, why am I just grinding? I'm grinding nonstop. This is fucking shit. In the original, this was so easy. Why is it so hard in this one? And it's because they decided to make it up, down, and then up on the thing.
Okay.
And I was like, okay. And then you cannot jump. If you're in the jump thing, you have to just get out of it before you hit the ramp. Otherwise, you'll fuck.
So yeah, it was just Y in a direction for
Yeah.
different lip tricks.
Yeah. So in the original, it was really fucking annoying to do that. And yeah. But then once I got it, I was like, okay, this is way easier. But I did it because there's a level that you have to break it by grinding on the. Oh, that's the same. That's San Fran. Yeah. San Fran was such a shit.
I think that's the level I was talking about.
Yeah. Probably.
That's the level
to-
with the cop cars and the statue or the sculpture.
No. Well, maybe in the first one. In
Yeah.
the second one, it's different.
Yes.
So in the first one, yes, there was cop cars, statue. Yeah, that's what you were talking about earlier.
That's what I was
yeah,
talking
yeah.
about earlier.
Yeah,
So
not-
my bad on
not
that.
the
That's
downtown.
that's not downtown.
Yeah.
Downtown's the dark
That one's
level
fun.
with the
You
movie
have to
theater.
break 5 cop cars by grinding on them.
Yeah.
The 6 or pro score, regular score, skate, and secret tape, and it's really easy.
Yeah.
But in the second one, it's really hard because they have skates like almost impossible to get just for the graininess. It was so hard to do that. And then B, doing those lip tricks without having any explanation. Lip tricks in the game, no shit fucking. And the worst part is they do have that cheat sheet of tricks you can do,
Mhm.
but it's not accessible while you're fucking playing.
Yeah, and that's the same thing for the remaster.
God, that is just so obnoxious. That is such a dumb thing to put in a game like that. Why would
Yeah.
you do that? Why wouldn't you make it upset? Because all the other Tony Hawks later on, they are.
Yeah.
So it's very confusing to why in these two they decided, yeah, it's too hard.
Well,
They should be able to figure it out themselves.
It was funny too because a lot of people when Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 2 remake came out, I saw a lot of people bought the game and they're like, "Oh, this is shit. You only can do 2-minute runs. This is nothing like the Tony Hawk games I played." I was like, "What the fuck are you talking
Well,
about?"
they must have played Underground. 'cause
Yeah, they
weren't-
played Underground
Yeah.
1, 2, American Wasteland.
Yeah, the ones
like,
that didn't have random.
They were open world.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was just like, "What are you talking about? This is exactly the way
Yeah,
the
they-
originals
yeah,
were. This
the
is
originals
like
were 2 minutes.
I was like, this is
It
all
makes
the
you feel
original
like when
was.
you're failing a bunch, it makes you feel like 6 hours gone by and you're looking. It's only been 20 minutes.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Well, and it's great too. Like the loading times on the remastered, like you can, like I'll start a mission or I'll start a competition, and if I biff the first trick, restart competition. Just
Yeah.
press restart and it loads up in less than 5 seconds.
Yeah, which is nice. And the original one, it's a little longer,
Yeah.
but it's not terrible.
No.
One thing that I liked about the remake that our buddy Trevor told me, when you go down like Downhill Jam, which is the other one,
Yes.
that was the fourth.
I think you're right.
Yeah,
actually.
so Downhill Jam. When you go down Downhill Jam, you're just going downhill and there's a finish line.
Mhm.
And the original one, you're done.
Oh,
You
because it
finish.
goes back up after.
Yeah, and then the new one, it teleports you back up to the beginning.
Same with the mall.
That's really nice. And the original one, nope, it just finishes you right there.
Yeah, same with the mall. So it actually pushes you back at the beginning. It's like, you can't leave here. Or like
Yeah.
something will pop up saying something.
Yeah,
stupid.
which makes sense. But I did watch an original one with the hobos for the second game.
Oh, God.
So not sorry, a
Venice
new
Beach,
one.
yeah.
Venice Beach. So I watched the way the hobos talk, and I hate it in the remake. It doesn't sound as good. So because I'm playing it, and I'm like, all right, how the fuck do you do this?
Get
and I go and I
outta
watch.
here.
Yeah, but the guy's way more like drunk.
Yeah.
And cranky, and like, what does he say? So
Scram, you animal.
yeah, there's that, but there was one thing he said that was like, "I'll stick a foot up you," and in the remake he says, "Up your butt," and I'm like, why did he include butt? Because in the original he just, "I'll stick a foot up you," and he's super angry about it. But in the remake he says butt. I'm like, that kind of just makes it into a joke.
Yeah.
Saying butt like that. Just say, yeah, it's funnier. It's better in the original for that thing. Like the voice acting, whoever did it, I don't know if they got the same guy.
I don't know.
If they changed it, it just sounds different in the remake. But in the original, it sounds fucking hilarious.
I don't think it really, like, because I don't think I really noticed too big of a difference of the voice acting in that.
No, I just on that one part, because that part was the only one where you have to go in and jump over a hobo. So
Yeah, you had to jump over the magic hobo 5 times.
Yeah.
He teleported randomly around the map.
yeah,
And yeah, I love that.
Mike the Magic Hobo or something
Yep.
like that. I don't remember.
I love it so
It
much.
was so fucking dumb. But it was funny.
Which in the I forgot to say too, in the mall there's a possible Easter egg in the mall. When you are about to leave the mall, at least in the remastered, the name of the mall is actually visible and it says like Dead Pine Mall. And I think that's a homage to Back to the Future, because in Back to the Future it was Twin Pines Mall, and then
Yeah.
it was One Pine Mall or whatever when they knocked down the tree. And then they had a really similar green logo, and it was Dead Pine Mall.
Well, maybe.
So
I don't know.
there's a lot of people that wonder if that actually is an Easter egg for it, but a lot of people, that's the first thing they thought of when they saw that. And I was like, I get that.
Yeah, or the guy just came into work and he's like, saw a dead pine tree outside.
Maybe.
Dead Pine Mall.
Dead Pine Mall.
Yeah, so yeah, and as we're going through, like literally the levels are carbon copies of the first and second. Really, they just picked the same locations and they changed it a little. But Downhill Jam is one of my favorites. I like that one
Downhill
so
Jam
much.
is a fun one.
I spent forever looking for fucking. You have to open 5 waters.
The valves, yeah.
Yeah, so
Those-
you got
that
to
was
open
hard to
5
find.
valves. No, so there are 4 are easy.
Yes.
4 is super easy. One of them I always went past because I grind on that first part. I don't go to the left and go up the ramp. One of them's on a ramp, and if you just go on the ramp, you're good. I'm like, where the fuck is this? Where could it be? And I'm looking around because I'm like, I gotta just look at the water areas because that's where it'll be.
Yep.
Yeah, but no, that's really close to the first one too, so it doesn't feel like it should be there.
Yeah, and the secret type on that one's a little challenging to get to.
No, I mean it's easy. It's just stupid.
Yeah,
Its speed thing is stupid. So you got to keep your speed up. So
yeah.
um
Keeping your special up, keeps your
Yeah.
speed up, and then holding down A Makes you skate faster as well.
So or it's down on the C-pad for those of you playing N64, like real men,
Like real, dude.
and like dummies who want to just torture themselves. You have to get up to this top part. You grind across this little opening, and then in the original one, this is really it's annoying how like non-inclusive this is. It doesn't look like something you can skate on,
Yeah.
like the part of the mountain. So it's just like a hard part of the mountain, and it literally doesn't look like you can skate on it. And you can't just go directly onto it. You have to jump over it and hope you don't fall off the edge.
Okay.
So, and then you go around. You have to keep your speed up, and then you have to do a trick that jumps over the half pipes like a gap, and then you have to land that perfectly to keep your speed going, so you can make this jump and this grind. And you have to grind on one of the third one, because otherwise you don't hit the tape. So it's really annoying in the original one because it's very specific on how you have to do everything.
Yeah.
But it's not hard. It's just specific.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things where if you miss it, you just got to restart the level and do it over again.
I literally watched the remake, and those guys jumped so far. I'm like, wow, that's amazing. How far did you go? And then the original, you're like, I made it like an inch.
I definitely like everything feels exactly like it felt to me in the originals for the remake. But it does just feel so smooth.
Yeah, it's really
it's so
and
smooth.
You are a little faster. Your grinding is a little easier. The remake does seem better. And just having a real controller.
Yeah,
having a not shit controller is probably such a big bonus.
It really does, because even when they made the Tony Hawk 2X remake on the original Xbox, that's all I played anymore when I got that, because playing with an actual controller was so much easier than playing with the D-pad and the C buttons.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I still play D-pad, though, because D-pad for Tony Hawk, this is one of the only games that I have to play D-pad.
Yeah.
I cannot play this game with an analog stick. And most really good streamers for Tony Hawk Pro Skater, and a lot of, even Tony Hawk himself said that this game was basically designed to play with a D-pad. It's so hard to play with an analog stick.
Tony Hawk, expert gamer, huh?
He's pretty good at his own game, actually.
Yeah, I would imagine he's pretty good at his own fucking game.
Which is cool, too. In the remastered, they added his son, Riley Hawks, in the game. Nice. They added a couple of newer skaters.
I hope he's
and
like
stuff.
shit. I hope he's the worst skater. The whole thing. And Tony's like, that's my son.
But yeah, no, it was pretty entertaining. There's a whole video of a couple of guys that stream video games. They actually played Tony Hawk against him, and they did different multiplayer challenges against him. And they each took turns doing a best 2 out of 3 on different competitions. Like one did graffiti, one did score attack, one did horse. Which I always had so much fun with those. Yeah. But we'll keep going with the levels and stuff.
So yeah, and that's pretty much, I mean, the first one's pretty much covered. You have a couple more levels, a couple more competitions. Let's go on to some of the second game levels. So we already talked about school, but we didn't talk about, so the second one is so much more annoying.
Because all the secrets?
No. Because of all the fucking vehicles.
That's true.
Jesus fucking Christ. Every fucking level has a vehicle. The first one's the exception, but the second one has the carts, golf
Officer
carts.
Dick on the golf
cart.
And
he's just running you over on purpose.
Yep.
That's all he's doing. He's not even making his rounds. He's just like, sorry, kid, you're fucking get out the fucking way.
The third level was New York and it had the taxi cabs.
Yeah, and then they hit you constantly. And then San Fran had the buses and those are scary as fuck because they just come right at you. And you're like, holy shit, they're right there.
And then, one in Philadelphia had the trolley.
Yeah.
And had cars.
Yeah.
And a bus, I think.
So.
And that's actually one of the achievements in the remaster is to get hit by every single vehicle in the game.
Fuck that.
So they actually made it kind of funny and worth it in a way.
In the original, no. It's just annoying. It's annoying to have these cars randomly
It's always annoying, especially when you're in the middle of a combo and then you just get hit.
And you're like, I have no choice but to go in the street.
Yeah. You're manualing before you get to a ramp, and then, oh no, I'm not going fast. Boom!
And they don't even try to stop. No. They don't care about your safety at all. They're just like, run that kid over.
And the taxi cab drivers actually say something too. It's like, get at it. I don't even remember what they say.
Get at it, you dumb kid. It's so fucking stupid. It's so dumb. The cars are definitely the most annoying part of the second one because there's so many.
Well, and there's so many secrets in the second one too. So even on the first level, the hangar,
probably in the remake, probably not.
No, in the original too.
In the original?
Yep. In the original, all of the secrets were the exact same as in the remake. They didn't change any of the secrets. All the secrets are the exact same. So in the hangar, there's that helicopter on the left side. If you break through the glass, So you could jump over a vert and break through the glass, and there was a helicopter. If you jumped off a ramp and grinded on the helicopter blades,
Yeah. You open. Oh, I see what you mean by secrets.
yes.
Sorry. Yeah, those are barely secrets to me because they're just part of the level. That's secret tape is part of the level. That's where you get the secret tape.
Some of the secrets were way more hidden than that one.
Yeah, you could open the other side too, next to the half pipe if you
grinded across the wing, the propeller blades. That
yeah.
was
Well,
on
no,
that.
you just had the wall right on the original.
They had the blade there too.
Oh,
but,
and then what I always did, and I didn't even have to do that. Literally, you just had to jump over it with a trick, and it would open.
Oh, okay.
So,
but then like Marcel France, the competition actually has a secret spot.
Yeah.
There's a pole, a telephone pole, that's hanging up, or electrical wire pole. Actually, sorry, electrical wire pole that's up, and there's a little kickstand piece of wood.
Mm-hmm.
And if you hit that kickstand, it knocks the pole over, and it opens up this like hole in the wall that you can jump into a hole in the ground, and then you find this secret like fountain and verts and stuff down underneath there.
I didn't find that.
And the remastered, they actually added some stuff in that room. So there's actually a statue of Tony Hawk down there.
Oh, cool.
And there's a couple. There's a statue of some other person down there too, as well, that they added. That was really cool. Other secrets.
Well, technically, in the San Fran, if you grind on the telephone wire, it knocks it over and opens up the escape.
You mean Philadelphia?
Is that Philadelphia? That's what I think you're thinking of. Yeah, in Philadelphia, yeah, if you grind on the telephone wire, it falls down, and then it opens up the skate park.
Yeah. So there's that as well, and then there's a couple of other smaller ones too. But there was even just like a lot of things like Tony Hawk. The remake actually had a lot of stuff dealing with COVID as well.
No, yeah, I saw the people with masks on.
Yep, you can have a creative character with a mask. There's on the Venice Beach level, there's a plane that's flying around and it says "Wash your hands" as the banner is holding.
Yeah, and then I know that's why the school's empty and stuff.
The school actually has a thing saying the school was shut down due to pandemic, and there's a couple other things. There's a couple of billboard ads on the New York level that had stuff about COVID and stuff like that too.
Well, that's cool. That's cool that they include some newer things, especially skateboarding.
Yeah, and they renamed the school and the remastered from one of the guys who is working on the game died during the making of the game, and they renamed the school his name. So I think it's like Matt Hoff Gymnasium or something.
I really wish his name was like Gaylord Dick Fuck, and it's like, God damn it, we got to name it after him now, Gaylord Dick Fuck Academy.
Oh, and then on the secret level, you have to unlock by doing everything. And I don't know if this was part of. I think this was a part of the original as well. Skate Heaven. If you unlocked that map, which
I don't remember unlocking, so I don't.
I mean, you didn't. Yeah, I think that was another thing you had to do with Created Skater. So you might not have unlocked that.
I did not do the Creative Skater.
So on that one, it was the craziest map. It's like in the universe, like it's just like galaxy space around. There's a giant volcano. There's a giant voice talking to you like the entire time, and like there's a secret in that level where you have to do this grind that activates the volcano and make the volcano start erupting and spewing shit all over the entire map.
Yeah,
and then you have to do a boneless jump off of this ramp into the middle of the volcano. And if you hit the volcano, you just spawn back where you started. But if you actually make it into the volcano, you get teleported to this other random like backyard that had a vert. And that's where you could find the last alien plushie as well. But there's also a Mount Rushmore on that level of professional skaters.
Oh, that's cool.
So they had the four most
Mike
popular.
McGill?
I don't remember. I know Tony Hawk was in there, but I don't know who the other three were.
Game. He better be on that.
Yeah, so I don't know who the other three were. I have to look it up because I don't know their faces enough.
Yeah.
To know like which one was.
I hope it's Gator.
I hope it's
Gator's
Bob Burnquist.
I wanted to tell you guys about some of the famous skaters while we.
Yeah, go for it.
So Gator was a famous skater. He was the fucking guy who made the beret pop. He's a fucking loser.
I think you told me about him one time.
Yeah, he's a complete loser and he's a murderer.
Oh.
Yeah, so he was dating this girl. He met her when he was like, I don't know, it's gross. It's always like this. I was 21 when I met my 15-year-old wife.
Yeah, that's weird.
Something like that. He met a young girl who dated him for 2 years or something, broke up with him, and then he was mad about it. So her friend moved to California. Somehow they messaged each other. I don't know how. This is in the early 90s. I don't know if phone calls were really like, she just happened to have Gator's number. Like,
Maybe.
that's so weird to me. But they somehow met up and he murdered her. He raped her. He murdered her. He's an asshole. He's a famous skateboarder. But he was the one, like, he started this whole skateboard movement against the police.
Wow.
He's the guy because he goes to the show, right? He's late. They don't know it's Gator. The security's like, well, you can't fucking come in here. He's like, I'm Gator. He's like, no, you're not. Get the fuck out of here, kid. And he's like, I'm fucking Gator. And he starts punching the security guard.
Jeez.
Right? So the police have to come and they're like, hey, kid, come on, let's go. And he punches one in the throat and starts running away. And a bunch of his fans see this and they're like, yeah, fuck the police. And this is where the skateboarding mentality comes from, that they're against authority. It's because Gator's bullshit attitude where he's like, how dare you not let me into my game?
Well, and yes, I know skating was really fucking hated for a long time. It was almost as bad as like people with tattoos for a long time.
Yeah, but certain people made it worse. Oh, yeah. For sure. He was one of the people who made it worse.
Well, I mean, even Rob Dyrdek, who wasn't the most famous professional skateboarder, but he was a professional skateboarder for a while, and most people know him from like Fantasy Factory and Robin Big and Ridiculousness now.
Yeah, he's a complete loser.
No, he's fantastic. No, he's an amazing guy. I love him so much.
All right.
He named his kids after Disney characters.
Okay, great. Wonderful. Makes him a bigger loser. But continue.
No. But he even talks about in the Ridiculousness all the time of all the times he had to run from the cops or try to escape from them or would throw stuff at them and just
literally, I bet that attitude, because he's a later skater too, right?
Yeah, he was a
like
skater.
Late 80s. Late 80s is when skating was fucking cool. So 88 to like 91 is when you were fucking sweet skater. But that's when Gator was around, and that's when he basically made skaters and police officers. That was his whole thing. And in the 90s it got.
Yeah.
So 90s were kind of like, that was when all those police abuse things were happening. They were starting to release tapes to media and stuff. So that's when things started getting pretty heated between cops. Right?
Yeah, and then X Games really brought skateboarding back to
X
the
Games
mainstream.
Was amazing. And I think it was the first X Games that brought it back, right? Because the first X Games were late 90s.
I think so.
Yeah. And then, the X Games, if you don't know, is just like a bunch of...
It's extreme sports.
Yeah, extreme, like biking, skateboarding. I don't think rollerblading.
No, so it
should be.
It was street skating, vert skating. It was, that's Winter X Games. They have the Winter X Games as well. But they also had motocross. They had... best trick in motocross. They had, like, highest jump in motocross. They had the same thing with skateboarding.
BMX biking.
They had BMX biking. They had the BMX bike racing. They had the skateboard downhill racing. They had all these different extreme sports with basically those.
Basically a vehicle sport.
Yeah.
So instead of you throwing a ball, you're riding a bike.
Yeah, which was always so much fun to watch.
Yeah. And X Games winner is always the most fun. I love watching fucking snowboarding.
Then we had Nitrous Circus come out, which really brought extreme sports to almost a jackass level of entertainment and stupidity.
Just entertainment's like way too good of a word for them.
Because they're amazing. I love Travis Pastrana and all those guys. They did the stupidest and craziest shit. Like they took those tricycles with the big wheel tricycles.
Yeah.
They took those,
like the little kid ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
They would do those down the big ramps where they would jump 90 feet.
Why?
So that it's just so funny. They do flips and tricks with all these like kids' toys and shit. And
they're spending very little money on. They're not getting any sponsorship deals. No one's going to be like, you want your own little big wheel bit rig?
Well, and they had the coolest thing ever. One of the coolest things ever, because they actually had a wheelchair skateboard.
Oh yeah, cool. So, I thought you were going to say wheelchair. Like they had a wheelchair competition where they push people in wheelchairs down a ramp.
This guy who was in a wheelchair, I don't remember his name. I probably should have looked it up before talking about
it.
But, this guy, I didn't really realize we were going to talk about this. This guy just came up, but this guy in a wheelchair actually goes to skate parks and he actually practices and does like tricks on his wheelchair.
Oh, that's cool.
On like verts and stuff. And so he always wanted to one day be able to do the big ramp in his wheelchair.
Yeah.
And he actually landed a backflip or even a double backflip off the big ramp in a wheelchair.
That's
and it's
sweet.
so fucking sweet. It's really cool to watch.
And then you're like, you're going to die. That's crazy.
I think one of the times he tried it, he broke both of his arms.
Oh god, does he want to be a paraplegic? God damn it!
You mean a quadriplegic?
Whatever, everything. God, that's so horrible.
It is bad, but I mean, it was so cool.
That's
to
the only
watch.
way he moves.
I know, but it was just so cool to see someone with a disability doing skateboarding.
It's cool,
things.
but man, don't break both your arms. Do something to prevent that from happening.
He was just as much gung ho as all those other guys.
Foam on your hands or something. I don't know. Do something.
Oh, and we didn't even bring up the craziest of all the skaters.
Who?
Bam Margera.
I would say Gator is crazier because he.
Okay,
but you go with Bam. Okay, you go ahead.
Okay, Bam Margera was originally one of the Jackass guys.
Okay, that's seeing crazy by stupidity, not crazy by.
Crazy by stupidity, not crazy as in actually psycho.
He's just a dummy. That's all. Is he the dead one?
I think he is dead now.
He's the one who died in the car crash.
I can't remember.
One of them died in a car crash, and I was like, "It's so sad." I'm like, "Why? You can't see him jump from roofs and roofs from shopping carts anymore?" Oh no! What a fucking tragedy.
And during all these times when all these games were really popular, they also did come out with an animated Tony Hawk movie.
Did they? That's stupid.
Tony Hawk's Boom Boom Sabotage.
Oh god, that sounds awful. That sounds awful.
I remember watching it as a kid, and I think I rewatched it a few years back, and I was like,
"Did Tony Hawk play himself?" Bad. I really hope he did.
I think he did.
Oh, I'm gonna watch it now and see how bad this movie is.
Yeah, you'll have to let me know. I can't remember if it was good or not. Yeah. I just remember it being weird.
Yeah,
it was really weird. But
so yeah. I mean, there's not a lot to talk about with Tony Hawk. It's not a story-driven game. It's just basically you doing tricks on each level and doing achievements, and that's cool. There's a lot of cool secrets in there, but I think that's all we really have to talk about. Unless you have anything else you want to bring up.
I don't think there's anything else really.
Yeah. The mechanics are okay. Like everything in the game is good, and then even in the original, you're like, yeah, it's good. It works for the original. I bet in the remake, it's perfect. So if you're gonna play it, do not play the fucking original. Play the remake.
I would definitely play the remake.
Yeah.
Are we going into worth now or
let's
whatever?
Do it.
So, for me, this game is 100% worth. It's $40 new. Which I mean,
$39
probably. But so this game, it's a lot like a lot of these other remakes. If you really enjoyed these games, you're gonna love the way it's so smooth now. You're gonna love all the new challenges, all the new things, all the new Creative Park things you can do with it. Like, it's crazy what you can do in Creative Park nowadays with this. The remastered Creative Park, you can actually like make it's not just putting a ramp down and like rotating it. Now you can actually bend and twist around whatever ramps you want and make them scaled however you want and do all this crazy shit.
I think they started that in Underground. I remember in Underground.
Underground, they had a lot of really cool stuff too. Same with American Wasteland.
Yeah.
And then they had the Tony Hawk Ride and Tony Hawk Shred, which actually had a skateboard controller.
Oh, stupid.
It was the hardest fucking shit ever.
Because it's dumb.
So it was actually, it's a flat skateboard and it had sensors on it. It was a motion controlled skateboard and actually had sensors on the sides and sensors on the front. And to do a grab, you actually had to grab that part of the board. And to do a manual, you actually had to lift it up.
That sounds so
to spin,
stupid.
you actually had to manual, like you had to pop up off the end of a ramp and actually spin on the skateboard. So you basically had to be a skateboarder to play this game.
Oh, no, I bet they even had trouble because they're not moving.
And it's so hard. It's hard to spin in a circle.
Think how stupid you look, too.
It's so dumb. It's so dumb.
A mobile skateboard. Like, look at me, mom. I'm doing tricks.
I got that game.
At that point, you might as well learn to fucking skateboard.
I got that game at the same time I got DJ Hero.
Oh, God. Oh, I remember DJ. I never played it because it looked stupid.
I bought it, and I actually had two sets because me and Corey used to play DJ Hero with each other all the time.
Brother, who was our guest star a couple weeks ago, fucking dumb. It like literally came with like this
turntable.
It's so stupid.
It's a turntable with buttons on it.
Oh my god! It looked like the dumbest game in the world, Stephen. Why would you ever buy that?
Because I was really
dubstep got really cool over the sudden.
It was. I got really into dubstep and techno back then.
How did I know you were gonna fucking say that? All right. So for me, I think this game is worth if you play it on N64. Because honestly, it was fun, but it was so frustrating playing it with that old controller. I think it's worth if you get it on the new. because it looks better. I still haven't played it, so I can't make it for sure, but it looks a lot better on the remake than it does on the 60.
It looks a lot better. They added new skateboarders and more newer actual skateboarders. So
Yeah.
like Riley Hawk and a couple others like that. There's that other skateboarder that was like a 15-year-old prodigy.
I like how we call it skateboard.
He was.
It's just listen. He's a 15-year-old prodigy. He cured cancer. Well, I'm a 15-year-old prodigy too. I can do a McTwist.
Well, that's not very impressive.
No, it's not.
Not just a single
Skateboarding is
McTwist.
impressive, but using prodigy in that I don't like.
Okay. Well, they do it for every sport and
I know.
everything ever.
He's a prodigy. He was raised. He was born out of a woman who
I
had a
think
skateboard in her womb.
His first professional skateboarding event was at the age of 11.
Yeah, Tony Hawk's was like 10 or 11 as well.
I think he won it though at 11.
Yeah, I don't know if Tony Hawk won, but Tony Hawk also had like a 200 IQ or something.
Yeah.
So he's fucking insanely smart.
Oh yeah, he's an awesome guy.
Yeah, he seems like a really cool guy.
And he actually lives in Colorado.
Does he?
He lives in Aspen.
Oh yeah, he does. He lived in California, but he's at a house in California. And
Yeah, he's got one in each. So yeah, his winter house is in Aspen. So
Yeah.
he's here now.
We
Most
can go
likely.
visit him. He'll be like, your game sucks, bro.
And I'll be like, no, dude, your games are amazing.
No, the
and I
original.
love you. And I've played
Will you
every
be
single
my
one
dad?
of your games. Please.
Oh God, Tony Hawk. I love the guy. He seems like a really smart guy, really genuine. I remember watching this thing. It was like this old woman complaining about this guy who was asleep on a plane, and she's like, "I just don't understand why he's sleeping on a plane." That he was like being loud or something, and it was Tony Hawk. It was something like that. So the old woman was complaining about a guy on a plane. It was Tony Hawk. She had no idea who it was, and so the steward just was like, "You know who that is?" She's like, "Some stupid kid." And this is when he's in his 30s. I think. So not
Okay.
really a kid. Fucking for some reason that she decided to call him a kid. And she's like, "That's Tony Hawk." You're like, "Who?" Like it's really Tony Hawk. It's so weird how we do that because anyone can name Brett Favre, right?
Yeah.
Like anyone, young people, maybe not. Maybe that's where the generational gap begins. But even like they know the name,
Yeah.
but old people, they don't know who the fuck Tony Hawk is.
No.
They're like, "Who?" It's like he's a millionaire off skateboarding. He made money doing what? I worked in a factory.
I will tell. I'll tell you guys one really amazing story that happened last year with Tony Hawk.
He died.
Right before the pandemic happened.
He died.
No, he's still alive. He's still kicking. He actually is still doing skateboarding. He actually landed his first
At 90 years old.
He landed his first 720
At 97.
in the
That's
last 3
impressive.
years, just a couple months ago. He did a 900, I think, a few years back.
Nobody cares. Continue with your cool story.
But so there's this really awesome story where this young kid, I think he was like 10, 11 years old. He found this old Birdhouse skateboard, which Birdhouse is the skate company that Tony Hawk has. Like,
Okay.
He's
He's associated with, or it's his company?
It's his company.
Okay.
Birdhouse Skateboards. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. But so it's got a lot of times it's got a bird on it. So this kid actually found an old skateboard that was one of Tony Hawk's skateboards.
Oh, nice.
And he actually gave it to the UPS driver, and he's like, "Can you send this to Tony Hawk so he can sign it for me?" And
The UPS driver was like, "I'm not your fucking slave, kid. Do it your fucking self."
no, this guy actually did something
Boo,
really amazing.
oh, God.
So
Boo. UPS, give girl pair.
this
Fuck
UPS
that
guy,
kid.
he's like, I don't know how to send it to him. So he's like, what I want to do. He actually recorded a TikTok video.
Oh.
And he posted the TikTok video telling the story of the kid coming up to him and saying he wanted to send it to Tony Hawk and say he wanted to get it signed. And he's like, so if anyone can, everyone try to send it to Tony Hawk. Let's try to see if we can get Tony Hawk to see this. Well, Tony Hawk actually saw it. He actually got a hold of that guy, got the skateboard from him, gave him a skateboard, signed that skateboard for the kid, and gave the kid another skateboard, and actually sent the kid a new skateboard and that skateboard both signed by
Nice.
him.
And I bet that he fucking made up the address. It was his address all along. Or
No.
And then he sold these skateboards for thousands of dollars.
I'm pretty
Smart
sure it
son of a
actually showed
bitch.
the kid too.
Oh, okay. It was some kid like, "Hey, here's $50. I'm about to make a lot more."
Well, I mean, it sounds like. Did you hear what happened with the guy, the streaker at the Super Bowl?
Yeah, he was like betting on himself.
He made $374,000.
I don't think he can make that money. So
Someone-
what? So
They also-
basically, his bet gets nulled out because he was the one who
Who
made
the bet?
yeah, so made the bet happen.
Oh, okay.
So because he bet that the streaker would be at the Super Bowl, sure, but in doing it, that's actually illegal. I'm pretty sure you can't make a bet reality. It's like saying it's at a casino saying like this next one's going to be 21, and you had loaded dice,
yeah.
so you knew it was going to be fucking 20.
Yeah.
Or whatever. I know 21's.
Yeah.
But like you knew that it was going to be an 11 and you're going to get a yo at the craps table. And you throw the dice and you have loaded dice, so it's an 11. Well, that's illegal now, isn't it? I feel like the same concept comes out of this because you can't bet and then go and make it a reality.
At least.
And he wasn't completely naked, so this is bullshit.
No, he wasn't naked.
Barely streaking, asshole.
He got his shirt off. That's all I got.
Yeah, you have to have a tearaway clothes at that point. You got to get it all off.
But yeah. No, I don't know what's exactly going to happen with that. His fine for doing it was only $1,000.
Yeah, so if he gets it, he'll be fine. But
then they'll make a rule saying you can't do that anymore.
Or it's already.
I can't believe that's even a thing you can bet on.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Like, why is that even a bet?
Vegas is so dumb. I mean, I was gonna bet $50 that one year. Every year there's a 500 to 1 odds that the first score of the game is gonna be a safety.
Mm-hmm.
And the Peyton Manning year against the Seahawks, I was going to bet that year because they were like, there's strong feelings there's going to be a safety this year because the Legion of Boom was so good on defense.
Yeah.
And I was like, I should bet $50 on it. And I didn't. And if I would have, it would have been $50,000.
Yeah, seriously, that would have been crazy.
But I didn't. Yeah, that's Tony Hawk Pro Skater, guys. We did it. We made it through.
Woohoo!
We made it through such a bad game and for
it's
the early
amazing.
one, but it's such a good one in the remake. It's so bad in the early. Don't play it if you play the remake because it'll ruin your life. So yeah, guys, good job. Thanks for listening. Remember, subscribe, like, comment. It really helps us out. Give us some game suggestions. Tell us you like us. Tell us you hate us. Whatever. Just give us something. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube. You name it, we're on it. Go for it. Yeah. And this is the Soul of a Gamer signing out. Bye.
Yeah.
I don't know.